Learning HTML is more of a process of trial and error. One of the best ways to figure out how to work around HTML code and HTML tags is basically just to get your hands on a website and start modifying it. So the best browser that I recommend to get started in HTML is called Chrome. So if you do a Google search for download Google Chrome, you should see the option right here. And I recommend you installing Google Chrome because not only is it one of the fastest browsers available out there, but it's also one of the most secure, and it's going to help you a lot, especially when trying to get started on HTML and CSS. So after you download it and you start using it, we're going to go to any website. In this case, just write McAllen, Texas. Let's go to the main website of McAllen. Okay, so this is the main website of McAllen. It can be actually any website. So I just want to show you how to go about modifying specific areas of the code. Now, the modifications that we're making, since we're not saving them in the server, they're not live. They're only viewable. We can only view those modifications. So, for instance, in this case, we're gonna modify, let's say, this banner. Let's make it move towards this area. So what I do is, with the right click, you're going to see a bunch of options when I do the right click. But at the very bottom, you should see something called Inspect Element. You click on that. When you click on Inspect Element, you're going to see a bunch of code appear on the right and on the left. And on the left, you see the HTML code, and on the right, you see the CSS code. So remember, they complement each other. So HTML gives you the general structure, and the CSS is the pretty styles. So for this one, let's say that I want to move just that banner, and I see that that banner is an image, and it doesn't have a specific class name. So we can go here, and let's try to modify it. Let's make it position, and as you can see, it actually fills it out for you. And then what do I want? I want it to have a position absolute, and I want to make it left, and I want it to be 5 pixels from the left. Now you see that it became huge. That's because the position absolute overtook other tag, then was restricting the site. So let's make it smaller. So we can say width, and let's make it 500 pixels. And there you go. We modified that specific banner. Now, let's say that we want to make that banner always stay in that area. So right now, as you can see, the banner is just moving around. But if we make it position fixed, that's gonna make it stay there no matter where you are. So that's good for banners. If you're doing a banner or something that you wanna make sure that it's always displayed on the main screen, that's the way to go. Now you can also make it relative, especially if you're trying to make your design responsive. You should make it relative so that it actually adapts with the screen size. So let's take this one, and then just make it smaller. And this particular one is a not mobile friendly one. But as you can see, if you make it of a fixed position, if, for example, this is the size of an iPad. Oh, never mind, it's actually mobile friendly. Okay, so this is the size, I'm sorry, iPhone. It actually adapts. So let's say we want to make it relative, so it actually goes with everything. And there you go. It stays the same and adapts to the screen that we are using. Now remember, each screen size is different. Each mobile device, tablet, each phone, each desktop actually They all use different sizes for the screen. Now, I believe that the best way to go about learning HTML is go ahead and actually modify elements, change styles. So for example, is this text? I think so. Let me see. So let's change that style. Um, okay. Now, in this area, we're using classes. So because we're using classes, we need to figure out which class is dictating the specific style. So let's go just out of, just so you remember, always right-click and then go inspect elements. So you can inspect that specific element. So here's annual report, and here we see that we have an element style of white. The higher it is in this chart, the more relevance it has on the edge and on the actual display of the code. So that means then if we have a tag here saying, oh, I want the text to be black, but then at the very end, at the very top, we have something that says I want it to be white, this one is going to take precedence over the other one. So let's say that we want to make the color green. And there you go. You change it to the color green. Now let's say we want to use hex tags. So we put a pound and then we put the 6-digit color code. So 151515. That's a specific type of black. But the beautiful thing about this is you can, let's make it 6. You can play around with the tone of the color. So you can actually click on it and then click on the upper arrow, and as you can see, it's actually changing the color. And also you can go down to try to get that matching color than you want. So this one is okay, this is the line that is dictating this little thing. So we can actually remove it. If we don't want to see it, we can just click here and it actually disappears. Whatever we unclick, that's actually going to go away. So I don't see a specific tag. Okay, as you can see, this one is being invalidated. Let's see if we can validate again. If you say times, which is Times New Roman, and as you can see, it changed the font family. Let's go back to that other one, which I think is pretty. Now, let's see, there's different ways to display the size. This one is a relative way, which is good. You can also use the pixel. I particularly like to use the pixels because that gives me a little bit more control of how it's being displayed. So 1M is one size in relation to everything else in the text. So if everything else in the text becomes very small, this one is going to become very small but still a little bit bigger than the average text. Or we can also have it in pixels, and it's the same thing, and we can actually move up. Let's say we want to make sure that it's really visible, and that's it. Now after you finish modifying the specific elements, remember you need to save those elements. You need to save them on your hosting provider via FTP or any other way you want to do it. The way you do that is you select the specific tag and then you copy, and then you go back to your specific style sheet that is modifying it, and you add it. I'm gonna be showing you in another video how to modify specific style sheets in two of the most popular content management systems, which is WordPress and Joomla. But what I want you to do is play around, go to a website, install Google Chrome. Remember, you go to Google and you search for download Google Chrome, download it, and then start playing around with websites. Start understanding what each specific tag is doing, and And if you cannot figure out something, play around with it. Eventually you will get it. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.